Hey guys, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 232 on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you guys for listening and watching this podcast. Fully appreciate it that you guys are listening or watching it and spreading uh, spreading the word that this podcast just talks about food, comedy, and sports. So I appreciate that. Also, if you guys have been donating to the podcast, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. There's a link on my Spotify and my YouTube episodes where it takes you to the Spotify page where it allows you guys to donate however much you want. I think the minimum is like 99 cents a month. So it's like less than $12 a year. So if $12 a person times a lot of people, that kind of adds up. Anywho, on this episode of 232, I'm going to talk about 3 comedy shows. Let's do it. um, let's start with July 25th. Um, Shock Collar Comedy. This is kind of the first of its kind that I've seen where comics get shocked if they tell a bad joke. And I guess there's like 3 buzzers, and if 3 buzzers go off, apparently I guess the 3 people who hit the buzzer doesn't like the jokes, and they do a light zap, a light taser, light shock of the comic who's on stage with the shock collar around their neck. So cool. The show was produced by British John. First time seeing the guy, and I guess they're bringing the show over to San Diego, and it was quite interesting from beginning to finish. Um, I guess you would say is like a special guest or co-host Ray Earl. First time seeing that guy, very flamboyant. um, Honestly, those guys were pretty interesting to see perform. Um, Ray Earl, he got some really funny jokes. I don't believe he was wearing a shock collar, so I don't think he was part of that. But I guess he had to go behind the desk and he had to go, kind of critique all these comics that are coming up. Um, I would say Ray Earl. I would say his comedy was like a 8.6 out of 10 for his comedy. Um, I don't remember if British John did any jokes or not. I think he was just being funny throughout the whole thing, just being a host and everything. So he does have a laptop in front of him, and he will shock the comic if he sees 3 buzzers go off. So, um, unfortunately, I didn't get a buzzer. So I offered my driver's license because that's what you need to get the buzzer. But unfortunately, I was an extra person. So, oh well. Um, I do remember Jackie LaGanger. She went up. She kept saying that she was nervous. Had some funny jokes. Um, but I thought it started kind of weird, and I thought that might have been grounds for all 3 people to hit the buzzer to shock Jackie. But I don't think she got shocked though. But I thought I think that she was funny enough to not to get the shock, um, according to those 3 people who had the buzzers. But I probably would have shocked her if it was me. Um, but I gotta say, Jackie was probably. I thought she was about a 7.8 out of 10 for her comedy with a shock collar around her neck. um, so that's one. I think there was Ryan Archuleta. He went up. Um, I think he got shocked a little bit. He did talk about his border patrol experience. Um, I would say he was probably 8 out of 10, but it was kind of interesting to see him get shocked, and I guess the people just had to zap him a little. uh, then we also got um, I want to say Drake was there. Kyle Drake. He had the shock collar around his neck, but he never got shocked. I don't think. Talked about his brother. Um, might have had. Um, he might have talked about the sparklers. Um, but yeah, I think he talked about autism on stage. I thought he was did all right, and no need to shock him. He was probably an 8.3 out of 10. Um, I believe there was a Jacob Johnstone. I don't think he got shocked. Um, he had to work with the fact that there was a parrot or a macaw in the room. Some guy brought like two parrots or two macaws to the Yellow Door. Oh yeah, this was at the Yellow Door Comedy Club. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, it looks like Jacob doesn't like parrots. um, I thought Jacob was pretty funny because he had to work with that. So I think he was an 8.5 out of 10. Um, who else? I believe there was a Amber Easton. She had a little bit of dark comedy, but she got shocked the most, it seems. Um, I think she talked about um, I guess she had talked about her dad, and there was some dark humor about the dad. Um, I guess family, and I guess that was the grounds to be shocked. All three people who had buzzers shocked her. So, and apparently, British John had an interesting thing to say that when he first met Amber, the day of the show, she already was wearing a shock collar, and he didn't give out any yet. So she said that she was promoting the show. She was going above and beyond. But Amber is pretty cool though. Actually, she's really cool, and she was very fascinated about the parrots. So was I. I thought Amber Easton, her comedy was, I guess, an 8 out of 10. Um, I think Ryan and Amber were shocked the most, apparently. So, um, let's see. Oh, there was Rebecca Robinson. She was on the show too. And I guess she had talked about she had, she should be that everybody should be appreciative because she saved everyone from a school shooter by dating a school shooter or prevented one from becoming a school shooter. So that was interesting because I think I heard that before, and I think it was Honey Bear who said it before. So they do have similar bits, that one bit. Um, but yeah, Rebecca Robinson. I think she talked about being single, and I don't remember if she got shocked or not. So, but I thought she was about a 8, 8 out of 10 for a comedy. Um, let's see. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Matt Eisendrath go up because uh, there was supposed to be a drone show, Marvel themed, and it was advertised, I guess, for Comic Con. But I saw it from this one guy's Instagram account that it was supposed to be on 2 days at 9 o'clock, both nights, Friday night, Saturday night. So that would have been the 25th and the 26th. Unfortunately, there was no drone show, and I was duped both days. I guess it's supposed to be close to Petco Park, but I thought by being on the rooftop of the Yellow Door, you would have seen it because that drone show looks like it was high up in the sky. But unfortunately, I didn't see it, and after 20 minutes go by, there was none. And I went again, and I was closer to Petco Park, and I was actually more stationed by the Hilton Hotel. But from 9 to 10, I didn't see any drone show. So unfortunately, I guess there wasn't one. It was supposed to be advertising the Fantastic Four, and apparently there might have been one, but it was closer to 10 o'clock, and that might have been a one-time deal. It must have been 10 o'clock on Friday night, but not on Saturday. Oh well. Um, so I usually don't cut out before the comedy show, but I thought I was gonna time it where I could see the drone show and get to see a good bit of the comedy show and see the drone show. But unfortunately, I felt bad for not only did I not see a drone show, but I cut out early of a comedy show. That's not like me. So oh well. So so that was that. Um, I think Catherine Hoon was supposed to be on there, but I think she had another show at the Comedy Heights. Um, so oh well. Um, I did go to the Mike Diamond show at the Mic Drop. Um, it was a very intimate show. It was in the Gold Room. Uh, Apparently, there was supposed to be another performer, but they canceled. So, the only show at the Mic Drop on Sunday, the 27th, was Mike Diamond. Very funny guy. And he brought on Eddie Weidman. He also brought on Bilal Young. Um, and and a guy by the name of Pritish Shah. Um, so those four guys put on a great show, great from the beginning to end. I think there was a tense moment between a guy in the crowd and Mike Diamond. I would think that those two would have made a great UFC fight, WWE match somehow. Uh, but show started with Bilal Young. Um, he was the host, and he kind of talked to me in the front row, kind of shared my life story. I brought on two people. My friend James, he brought his friend from work, I guess, and apparently they got a lot of one-on-one conversations about them, and James's friend coworker shared that uh, he just went through a breakup, and I said that I was in a divorce. So it was kind of interesting that a lot of details are shared throughout the whole show. But Bilal Young, funny guy, does a lot of great crowd work, great jokes. I would say, 'Bilal Young' was, um, uh, um, uh, 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 9 out of 10. Really funny guy. It's always cool seeing him again, and I'm glad that he actually remembered me. Actually, um, and then next we have, I think it was Eddie Whiteman. I think we remembered each other. I think I saw him at the Yellow Door Comedy Club. Um, Told him some stuff, and I guess he went to the same town as James, my friend, and I guess they were like maybe 7 years apart. Um, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, I'm talking about being a police officer and why he's not a police officer anymore. Um, I would say he was an 8.8 out of 10 for his comedy performance. Then we got Pritish Shah. I guess he brought his sister to the show, and I actually got to talk to the sister before the show started. And then there was another lady who sat in the front row, who's friends with Mike Diamond. Got to talk to her. So, um, but yeah, Pritish Shah. Um, I, I think he was trying to set up his sister during the show. So he had some questions for me, and for some people in the crowd. Um, Really funny guy. I really enjoyed his comedy. He was 8.9 out of 10. Um, and then you got your headliner. The reason why we're all there, Mike Diamond. Um, Mike Diamond, cool guy. He had to kind of address the whole thing with the tension between him and the guy in the crowd. I don't know if they're friends or just, you know, good banter. It was kind of tense though, but you know, I don't know if they're friends or not. Maybe they are, but then again, might have been just a fan or crowd member. So that was pretty interesting though. And then Mike Diamond talked about getting engaged, being divorced, talked about losing weight, circular things, and they had this whole thing about $5 billion, and would you do a certain challenge for $5 billion? And honestly, I wouldn't do it based off the challenge, but he was assuming that I probably would because I would be BSing him, knowing that $5 billion is a lot of money. But honestly, I couldn't do it. But it's kind of cool. Mike Diamond was said he would do it for $5 billion. Um, but yeah, Mike Diamond was pretty funny all night. I would say he was about a 9 out of 10. So I enjoyed myself, including everybody in the room. Um, oh, I had the Buddha plate again with chicken katsu. That's my go-to. That's a 9 out of 10. Good, healthy stuff with chicken katsu. I recommend it to anybody. And Bilal Young, um, he offered to buy me dessert during the show, but it didn't work out. It's okay. But good food, good comedy, great people around. So overall, great show. Um, and so I got to go to an interesting show. Pretty funny women. They usually are the last Wednesday of the month at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, produced by Lisa Sunstead. Um, I gotta say, it was pretty interesting because you have all women on the lineup except for the person who was the first person to go up. He actually works at the Comedy Store, Ellie Rickler. Um, Man, he was super funny. He got the crowd laughing quite a bit from the beginning of his set to the end. Um, he has this thing where he had a funny joke about being a victim of Asian hate. But then he said he was at this wedding or something, and He thought that he was talking to his cousin, but it wasn't his cousin because they all look alike. Um, that was pretty funny. He did a great job. I would say he was 9 out of 10 for his comedy. Great way to start. And then, um, honestly, I think you're guaranteed a spot if you work at the comedy store. You get to be part of any lineup you choose. You get to help introduce and be the cold open, do the warm up, and set the stage for the rest of the comics on the show. So pretty awesome job. Way to go, Ellie. Um, I believe I got to see um, Jen Lee. Um, she had this joke about losing like literally half her body, and that she used to be 10 feet tall. That was kind of funny. I actually got that right away too. I mean, she says it's kind of a stupid joke, but still, the fact that I got it right away, I got the logic of it and everything. Um, she talked about being single, I guess, and she was living with her mom. Um, so there were some funny points to it, and then there were some dark moments to it. I would say she was probably an 8.1 out of 10 for her comedy. Um, and then I think there was um, a Lauren Thomas. She was funny. She talked about being from Atlanta, but she can't find any black guys in San Diego. I suppose there are Dave and Buster's. um, and honestly, she did pretty well. And I guess she just started not too long ago. And and yeah, she was pretty good. Crowd liked her for the most part. I want to say that Lauren was probably an 8.4 out of 10. Um, let's see. And then I believe there was um, I think her name is Nazima, Izima. She talked about how she got pregnant, but she had to raise the kid as a single mom. Um, she was kind of funny. The crowd was kind of into it for maybe half of it at most. I thought she was like an 8.1 out of 10. And then I believe there was a Ruth Brand, and I actually got to meet her one time. I think I saw her before at Pretty Funny Women, and I think I saw her at the Hollywood Improv when Sarah Halstead did her what was it? Um, her show at the Hollywood Improv. Um, I think it was called Bottle Shock. um, yeah, Bottle Shock Comedy or something. Um, yeah, I had a conversation about Ruth because I think I said I talked to her and then like I mentioned that I kind of thought that she looked very familiar. Um, so Ruth was pretty funny. She talked about being divorced. Um, her kids are grown up and wants their kids out of the house. Um, overall, she did pretty well. I think she was an 8.5 out of 10. Did a great job. Um, I would say she was probably the probably the funniest. Yeah, she was probably the funniest of the group. And then we got Christy Matsutani. Um, she she's super funny. She talked about dating, talked about her mom and stuff, and um, it's always funny when she talks about the whole it's not sexual harassment if nothing's there. Um, um, I think she talked about nose jobs too, or she talked about her nose. But yeah, I talked about being single. Um, um, I would say that she was an 8.5 out of 10. So her and Ruth are pretty much the two funniest comics on the lineup. Um, and then, oh yeah, for some reason, Christy likes to compare herself to a mic stand because I guess they're both skinny. um, and then I guess we got our headliner, Lisa Sunstead. She ended the show. It was kind of weird. She did sing. She did do some crowd work, and then there was something going on with a friend of hers in the front row. Uh, it kind of threw off the vibe of her set, but Lisa did share some stuff from her past shows, like the first show, the frame of the first poster flyer of the show that she did, has some backstories. But honestly, there were some laughs in her set, but it was mostly quiet, and it was kind of cringy actually. I don't know if it really felt weird when Lisa was up there, and the whole set was all weird. But she did get some good laughs. I guess the best one she said was, um, um, I want to say it had to do something about, um, it was funny when I remembered I heard it, but then I can't remember. So, she did bring up a song that she sang before when she was doing comedy. I think she did a second song, but I think that was a nice way to end the show. But I wasn't sure how much the people really got into it. I think there was this one couple that was trying to figure out when to leave the show. So I think they got up and left during the second song, which was pretty much to end the show because she had everybody on stage. Um, Plus, it seemed like Lisa was venting on stage because she kept saying that nobody helped her. I wasn't sure what kind of reference that was, but I really thought that it was actually like, you know, part of the show. But honestly, I guess she was just kind of just venting on stage. So I honestly don't know what that is about. But oh well. Um, but I gotta say, Lisa Sunstead. I want to say that her performance was a 6.5 out of 10. It is probably the first time I've never seen her do this before, or it was not like how it was for her other shows when she performed, because she did a lot better on other shows, but this one was just kind of off. So, just honest. Uh, well, guys, the next time I'm at a comedy show, I'm going to see Taylor Tomlinson at the San Diego Civic Center Theater, downtown San Diego. I'm going with my sister, so it should be pretty fun. My first time seeing her. She has a show on, I believe, NBC or something, but it's like at 2:35 a.m. or something. But hey, she had her own talk show, late night. That's pretty good. And she's from San Diego. Pretty awesome, huh? Next episode, guys, I'm gonna talk about SummerSlam's night 1 and 2, Padres baseball, um, and stay tuned for that and some food reviews. Um, so you know the saying goes, boom, Tiggy Maximus signing off, baby. All right, guys, see you later. Booyaka, Shama.